Other powers fight from their homeland, but the US fights in their homeland, far away from its own land, its own territory. Don't you think it alone is a very large advantage they have, the Americans? They don't have to worry about their nation. They can cause as much destruction as possible in other nations. What's my take on this? So it's the advantage the US has. The US is the sole hegemon in the Americas. Let's go back to the map. Give me a second. Let's put the map back on the screen. Okay. The US is the sole hegemon in the Americas. Okay, we'll go to the Americas. The Western Hemisphere, the US is the only nation that matters. All other nations in North and South America, they kowtow to the US. The US controls the fate of every nation, and essentially dictates the policies each nation should have. Right, and the great advantage the US has is all the nations over here in the region, none of them can pose any kind of military threat to the US. It's impossible that Canada or Mexico or Venezuela or Colombia or Nicaragua or Brazil or whoever, Argentina, none of these nations has anything like the hard power the US has. The US faces no threat whatsoever. They have engineered the situation wonderfully. And when it comes to national security from other nations, non-hemispheric nations, well, the US is protected in the east by the Atlantic Ocean, in the west by the gigantic Pacific Ocean, right? So the US is super secure, and the US has more than 800 extraterritorial military bases spread across the world. The US owns Australia. The US owns the Five Eyes nations. The US owns Japan, South Korea. The US controls all the nations in the region, Southeast Asia. They're aligned with US objectives. They don't dare cross the line with the US. The US essentially owns Africa, EU, NATO, all of that. So you see, the US, it has built up these capabilities over the past century or so, and it is essentially kind of invincible. It has the most destructive power of any empire ever in human history. And see, this did not happen overnight. They worked really hard for this. So whatever they have today, they have worked for it. They have built it up, and they deserve it. And since they have it, they're going to use it. They won't allow any other nation to rise up and become a competitor and adversary. They have made that mistake with China, but they're putting all the pieces in place to cut China down to size, and they'll deal with Russia as well. And they want India to be vassalized. So the Americans can unleash war on any country they want, and they don't have to worry about war visiting them in their homeland. That's a great advantage a nation can have, and they have it. Yeah.